This is problem number 3 for assessment number 2. And this problem says if f of x is x plus 4 and g of x is x squared minus 3, find the following. So we've got 8 different pieces to this problem that we're gonna do. Let's start with the very first one. Let's work our way down. So we have f of g of 0. First we start with g of 0, and we're plugging 0 in for g function, so we end up with f of 0 squared minus 3, which is f of negative 3. Now I take negative 3, plug it into the f function, so I end up with negative 3 plus 4, which is 1. And now I'm going to go ahead and start with part B. Part B, I have g of f of 0. So I end up with g. I input 0 for f, so I have 0 plus 4, which is equal to g of 4. Now I take 4, plug it into the g function, so I end up with 4 squared minus 3, which 4 squared 16 minus 3 is 13 for part B. Part C then, I have f of g of x. So I have f of g of x. So I just take the g of x function and I plug it into the f function. So it's f of x squared minus 3. I go grab the g function. Now I plug that into this function here, and I end up with x squared minus 3. Right, this is going in for the x part of f. I don't really need the parentheses, so I end up with x squared plus 1. Part D, I have g of f of x. So I plug in f of x into the g function, so I have g of x plus 4. When I plug x plus 4 into the g function, I now have x plus 4, I square it, minus 3. X plus 4 squared, I can split that to x plus 4 times x plus 4 minus 3. That's x squared plus 4x, that's plus 8x. 4 times 4 is 16. Minus the 3, you get 13. So plus 13. Part E, I have f of negative 3. I take negative 3, I plug into f function, so I end up with f of negative 3 plus 4, which gives you, right, I'm plugging that function, negative 3 in there, so that's f of 1. Now I take 1, plug into this function, so I get 1 plus 4, which is 5. Part F, I have g of 3. So I take 3 and I plug it into the g function. So I have g, and then I plug the 3 in. I end up with 3 squared minus 3. So now I have g of 9 minus 3, which is g of 6. G of 6, I take 6, plug it into that function again. I get 6 squared minus 3. This is 36, minus 3 is 33. Now I go to part G, and it wants me to plug f of x. So I'm taking f function and I'm plugging into the f function. That means I have f of, I take x plus 4, put it here, which is equal to, I plug x plus 4 into itself. So I have x plus 4 plus 4. I don't need the parentheses, so that's just x plus 8. Finally, I have part H, g of x. I take the g of x function, I plug it into itself, so I have x, or g of x squared minus 3 is equal to, I plug the x squared minus 3 back into itself, so now I have x squared minus 3 squared minus 3. When I square this, that's really x squared minus 3 times x squared minus 3 minus 3. And that's going to give you, I have x squared times negative 3, so it's negative 3x squared. Well, first of all, x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Then I have the negative 3x squared and another negative 3x squared, so it's negative 6x squared. And then finally I have negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. But I have this minus 3 here, so I end up with 9 minus 3, which is 6.